Don't forget to check out and grab your copy of our 2 newly released books, Football: A Love Story and What Did Football Teach Me? These books feature over 100 stories from current and former coaches, players, executives, and entertainers from across the football landscape, describing what got them involved in the game, what they love about it, and what life lessons the game taught them. You can find your copy or order your copy from our website at footballgameplan.com/books. Big matchup here between Grand Valley State and Ashland. Started with Grand Valley State in this ball game. I think they have to control the pace of the game. They do a great job in spreading the field. They can run the football very well. They can throw very well, and I think they have to control the pace and keep that football away from Ashland, forcing them to maximize their own possessions. And defensively, it's all about getting the Eagles off the field. Right now, Ashland is converting 51% on third downs. That's unheard of. And if you're going to win this ball game, if you're Grand Valley State, it starts with playing great third down defense. They have to excel in that department, and they have to take away their outstanding tailback Saddlemeyer, getting him off the field and making them one-dimensional, making them more of a passing team, plays right into the hands of that Laker defense. And for Ashland in this ball game, they have to protect up front, and I think that starts and ends by sliding protection toward defensive end Matt Judon, the outstanding defensive end, their pass rusher coming from Grand Valley State, who has double-digit sacks on the season. And defensively, Tim Lair, the defensive tackle for Ashland, has to be a disruptive force. You want to stop the spread offense of Grand Valley State, you have to stop it from within and then work your way outside, and it starts with Lair being disruptive. And in the secondary, rotating that coverage post-snap I think could be huge, and they can help influence bad decisions by the QB. I think that's one way Ashland can find themselves getting the ball back if they sense Grand Valley State is trying to shrink the ball game by taking the air out of the ball and running it. You have to be creative in how you're going to create turnovers, and that's one way they can do so. But I like Grand Valley State in this ball game. I think Bart Williams, the outstanding quarterback of the Lakers, does a great job being efficient. He protects the football, and when they're able to operate with balance like they've done all season long, they're very tough to beat. And defensively, I think they'll do a great job getting these guys off the field and making Ashland one-dimensional. So I like the Lakers to come away victorious. Next up, we have a really great game between Minnesota State and Southwest Minnesota State. The Mustangs are 6-2 coming into this matchup. And for Minnesota State, Mankato in this ball game, playing better in the red zone is going to be key. I think that's what got them in trouble last game versus Winona State. They have to do a better job once they get inside the 20. Their second-level defense will be put to the test in this ball game versus the Mustangs' passing game. So those linebackers and how well they're able to get in their drops and how well they're able to be effective in coverage could ultimately determine the outcome in this ball game. And I kind of mentioned it earlier about playing better in the red zone, but this offense can't afford a slow start versus Southwest Minnesota State, who does a great job in putting a lot of pressure on the opposing defense with their own offense. And for Southwest Minnesota State, I think number 1 and number 2 go hand in hand. Getting aggressive versus the run will force the Mavericks to win with their passing game. I think if Southwest Minnesota State can do a great job in stopping the run, putting the Mavericks in second and long, third and long situations, it goes a long way in helping them win the game. Because, again, it's all about possessions. When you're facing a team like Minnesota State, stopping the run, forcing them to throw the football puts you in a better position to win the game, and execution beats pressure. They're going to see a lot of pressure coming their way from the Mavericks defense, and if they're able to execute flawlessly like they've done for the majority of the season, then Southwest Minnesota State can definitely win this game in impressive fashion. And I'm still going with the Mavericks in this ball game. Minnesota State does a great job up front on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I think their offensive line and their defensive line will make things tough for Southwest Minnesota State to move the football with any level of consistency. So I think the Mavericks move on to 8-1. And finally, another outstanding matchup this week between Tuskegee and Central State. The Marauders come in 4-4. And for Tuskegee in this ball game, the passing game, I think, has to play better. We know they can run the football. They're one of the best running teams in Division II. But can they throw the football with any level of consistency in this ball game? And that just is not for this game, but throughout the course of the season. Because, again, if they want to be a factor in the playoffs, they have to be well balanced. And right now, they're sort of one-dimensional. And they can't beat themselves. Turnovers, penalties, self-inflicted wounds will get you beat versus a very good football team despite their record in Central State. And I think they have to win on first down defensively. You want to put the Marauders in a situation where their quarterback has to win the football game throwing the football, and I think that's something that could help Tuskegee win. If they're playing excellent defensively on first down, it goes a long way in helping them win the game. And for Central State in this ball game, they have to avoid the early mistake. In the 4 losses so far this season, they've had problems when they've put themselves in the bind by making a mistake early. That's penalties and turnovers. That can't happen versus one of the top teams in Division II. And I think they have to be efficient in the passing game. You don't have to throw for over 200 yards, 300 yards to knock off Tuskegee. You just have to be efficient in what you do. So when you're going to your passing game, make sure there are high percentage plays, high percentage throws that the quarterback can complete on a consistent basis, and that helps you as an offense move the sticks. And the wide receivers are probably going to see a lot of press from this Tuskegee defense, so that's why it's important that they win the individual matchups on the flanks, both pre and post snap. Once they catch the football, they have to be able to make one miss. They're going to need some chunk plays to help themselves out against Tuskegee. But I like the Tigers in this ball game. I think Tuskegee has the look of a team that can make a deep run in the Division II playoffs this year if their passing game gets up to par. And that's what I'm going to be interested in looking at in this matchup versus Central State. But I do think they'll take care of business. Their running game and their defense are excellent, and they'll knock off the Marauders.
What's up, college football fans? Don't forget to check out and order your copy of Stiff Arming Football Myths, our latest football game plan book. So go on our website at footballgameplan.com/books and get your copy. We have these available in paperback as well as in PDF form.
Coach, I mean, I hear this a lot from high school kids. You know, they're hell-bent on going D1. And I try to tell them, like, listen, man, you know, because at Football Game Plan, we cover everything from D1 down to JUCO. But there's other options out there for them, and some really good options, you know, whether it be D2, D3, whatever. But speaking in terms of just Shippensburg, why is Division II as good of an option as, you know, the FBS or FCS?
Well, I think it's a perfect blend of athletic competitiveness and academics, and I think the structure of that allows you to come in and to develop yourself as a young man. You know, you can be involved in a unique college experience of being a student and an athlete, and I think you're going to be pushed and academically, and you're going to be pushed athletically, and I think that's what makes it special to be a Division II football player. But you know, I know a lot of young men, they see what what goes on NBC and CBS and ESPN, and then they see that translate to the next level as far as being a professional football player. But the scouts come here. You know, we've had, you know, two of the top players in the NFL over the last few years come from little old Shippensburg, and we've had several others that have gone to the NFL and been in camps and tryouts. And we have a young man, Trevor Harmon, right now, who's in camp with the Arizona Cardinals. So the scouts will find you. In this day and age, the way technology and you know the resources that the NFL scouts, NFL programs have put into their scouting departments, you know, we've had every single scout, you know, step in this building each of the last 3 seasons, and you know, I think they understand that if you can play good football in this conference, that you know, you have a chance. And at the end of the day, as a young man, all you want is a chance. You want a scout to be able to access your video, run you through the system, run you through the process of getting evaluated amongst that NFL organization, and they either going to want you or not, whether you are from Shippensburg or whether you're from a big time BCS program.
Now, I will say this, because I think I've seen this over the course of time, from, you know, when we were in high school to now. Remember back in the day, and I say back in the day like the 70s, but just remember back in the day where
we're not that old
exactly
yet.
Where you saw on Saturdays, you just saw Florida State, Miami, you know, and a night game, maybe LSU or whatever. But now you see everybody on TV. I'm talking about from, let's say, Central Florida to you know, Bowling Green to Shippensburg now is on TV. So you think that has really spread out the talent from D1 all the way down to D3?
Absolutely. It's, you know, I know growing up, you know, our family was big into Notre Dame, and you had to, you know, if you wanted to watch football, you watched Notre Dame, and that was all you got to watch. And as you said, it spread out so much more, so the exposure and getting exposed is a big thing. And even at Shippensburg, where we've played on, you know, national television, you know, multiple times over the last couple seasons, you know, I have family in California, and they're turning on the TV and watching Shippensburg play on Thursday night football in prime time, and that's special. And I think that, you know, you can be special and have that special treatment at a school like this, just like you would be in the BCS level.